Testing. Okay, good. Nice. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Oh, hope everybody's doing well. I'm tired. It has been a long day, even though it's almost only 5 p.m. Hope everybody's doing okay. Hope everybody is enjoying Sunday. As you guys know, you guys are welcome to ask me any type of real estate questions, Section 8 questions, etc. Feel free to just ask me whatever is on your guys' minds. What's up, Chase? How's your Sunday going? You know, still working, unfortunately. A lot of people don't realize that, my Section 8 rentals are really just a very minor part about what I do, right? Like, I'm only 22, I'm bored, and I want to be like filthy rich. So, trying to start businesses, as you guys know, trying to build up my mentorship a little bit more. So, very busy with that. I've had 4 of my students. I only have like 10 to 15 active students at once. I've had like 4 go under contract within the last 2 days. Kind of crazy. Hope your Sunday's going well, Chase. Is Toledo a good area? Yeah, it's fine. I think it's very similar to Cleveland. Man, I've been sick for so long. I've gotten like 2 different inhalers that they've given me. Like, I got this originally, and then they gave me this monster when I wasn't getting better. That's a very big size difference. Like, yeah. How much is the mentorship? It's between 4 and 6K. 4K if you just want, some light assistance. Something that's just, just trying to get 1 or 2 homes, making it turnkey, something like that. Whereas it's on the higher end of 6K if you want something a little more complex, like doing a BRRRR, for example. How do you get started with real estate? A lot of people get stuck in analysis paralysis. I think that's a big thing. So many people end up just watching videos and 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 never actually make a move. So I think that, asking questions is by far the best first step. Lena joined. Hello, beautiful girlfriend. Yeah, asking questions is a great way to get started. However, you need to actually start making moves. Chase, how much money do you have? Like liquid cash that you can put towards this, whether it be partnering with somebody, your own cash, etc. Also, so sorry everybody that I'm still coughing. I'm trying to get better. On TikTok, what's the top area? I think it's a tie between like 4 or 5 different places. Like Detroit is really good. Big fan of Montgomery, Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, Cleveland, Ohio. I think like 80% of the deals are done in those 4 places. Chase, a great way that a lot of beginners get started is they just find someone with enough money. I mean, it's at the end of the day, like the average, grown up, right? The average person with like a full-time W-2 job and, stability, middle class, has probably 25K that they can put towards investments. So honestly, like a big thing a lot of students do, they go find, you know, an uncle who's a lawyer, right? Something like that. And they partner up and they just say, hey, I'll handle everything A to Z. In return, give me 50% equity or 50% cash flow, something like that. And in return, you do nothing. And I'll get you, 15 to 20% return on your money. I see a lot of people do that. How is Texas with Section 8? I'd say the DFW area is not bad. San Antonio is also pretty good. I think it's a lot better for burrs or house hacking. I'm not too sure it's very good for regular good old turnkey purchases. Puerto Rico's terrible. Don't do Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is average home price is $1 million. Yeah, that doesn't work. What's your average down payment on Section 8 rentals? 20% if you're doing this for the first time. 15% is for experienced investors. But honestly, like people don't realize that a lot of the time, the less equity you have, simply put, the less cash flow, right? So it's not necessarily a good thing to only put 5% down. That just means you're gonna like make no money. Your cash flow is gonna be nothing. You're using hard money for these rentals? No, DSCR for turnkey ones, or if it's a burr, it's hard money purchase or cash, and then we refi into a DSCR after rehab. Joseph, your IRR seems to be higher than 15 to 20%. Is this just a conservative estimate? Where is it higher than 15 to 20%? I think my IRR is roughly 15 to 20. Maybe specific deals are higher, right? Occasionally at 25, but then some will hit 14. It kind of all balances out. What price points are you buying in? If it's turnkey, around 70 to 90K. If it's burr, like 40. Yeah. I just texted you, Lena, in case you're still watching. On Instagram, Jake said, what do you think about Dayton, Ohio? I think, pretty much anywhere in Ohio is the same, except Akron. I don't like Akron. It's really overflooded now. Otherwise, I think Dayton and Toledo and Cleveland are kind of all the same, where you have to be careful about vacancy. I think that's probably the biggest issue. Whereas otherwise, like, it's fine. It's a pretty good market, healthy market. Yeah. They're going to cash flow somewhere between 350 to 500. I see the problem. Equity is a lot more than 25%. And also, Monumental Agent, the whole 2 million is in Section 8. Probably $1 million of that is like room by room rentals. Used to do Airbnb, stuff like that, where that 2 million portfolio is not purely like 100% Section 8. I'm a little more diversified than that. But I do like Section 8 the most. Yeah, I like Section 8 the most, and that's what I only do now. Okay. A lot of questions on TikTok. Let me answer some of them. Why don't I use a conventional loan and quick claim it to your LLC? Well, because every conventional loan has a title seasoning period. They don't have due on sale clauses, but they do have title seasoning, which they're kind of the same thing. But the title seasoning period changes lender to lender. Some will say 6 months, some will say 1 year, some will say nothing. So it really just depends on your conventional loan. Most of the time with these super low price points, they don't offer instant refis. Instant transfers. So it's not that common to do. I would say it's a lot more common on, pretty expensive homes. But with the Section 8 strategy, you have to really focus on volume, right? As many homes as humanly possible. Conventional loans just simply take more paperwork, more time. It's just a lot easier to do DSCRs and, pay the extra $20 a month in interest and just move, 3 times as fast. What is Section 8 investing? Oh, okay. So a very easy example is you buy a home, you advertise it like normal for a rental. Someone approaches you, says, "Hey, I have a Section 8 voucher. Do you take that?" You say, "Yes, I do." You fill out paperwork. You give it you give it to the government, housing authority. Housing authority goes, "Oh, okay. Well, this is totally valid. In this zip code, we can probably pay a maximum of this price. What are you looking to get?" You say, "Oh, I listed it at $1,300. You say, "Okay." Housing authority says, "Okay, $1,300. You gave me solid comps. I think that's fair." Sign the lease at $1,300. The government says, "Okay, according to the tenant's finances, we'll pay 11 of the 13. The tenant can cover the 200. What's your direct deposit info?" And then you get 1,100 direct deposited to you every single month, and you do a yearly inspection after that. That's about it. That's Section 8 investing. Man, I'm dying over here. Have you ever done seller financing deals? No, because they don't work, unfortunately. If they did work, I would do them. A lot of gurus out there say it works, but it's just so that they can get you into their program and mentorship and, promote, "Oh, you only need $5,000. You only need $10,000. That's just not true. That's basically, it's borderline false advertising where maybe 1 in 5,000 will work. Hey, I'm struggling with property managers and contractors. That's kind of why my mentorship exists, funny enough. I have pre-vetted property managers, pre-vetted contractors. Also, have you ever considered self-managing? It's actually not that hard. You can use something like Tenant Cloud. Hey, you sent me a link, but it doesn't work. Sometimes that happens. Kind of just depends. I'd say for whatever you're looking for, what kind of link was it? Was it a booking link? Was it to some type of website? Man, I'm dying. Fuck. Anyways, where are you getting money for down payments? Working. People don't realize that's kind of the only way you get money. There's no magic method where you can start with 0 and get to 1 million properties. You work. You save up money to buy the next house. Anyone saying that there's some magic method where you can start with 0 or anything like that is lying to you. The closest thing there is probably the Burr method, where you can recycle up to 100% of your cash. But in the price ranges we're going for, it's a lot more like 60%. So you still need money. You still need you need like 10 to 17K, even doing a Burr. Thanks for being transparent and being honest. Yeah, no problem. I mean, I'm a licensed realtor, so ethically and legally I have to be. Whereas every other guru out there is just kind of like a guy. Can I start if I live in Canada? Yeah, absolutely. Terms are a little bit different for DSCR. It'll be between 25 and 35% down if you're buying turnkey DSCR, or if you're doing a BRRRR, there's really no restriction. It's normal. 10% down for a BRRRR, but that's for hard money. And then you refi into DSCR and you're hit with the same loan restrictions. Why doesn't seller financing work? You have to think about it psychologically, right? So pretend that you own your home free and clear. You spent 30 years paying it off. You're probably 70 years old, right? 60 years old, let's say. And you just finished paying off your mortgage, because people don't realize you can't have a mortgage if you want to do seller financing. It won't work. You're going to instantly get hit with a due on sale clause. So let's say that you are 60 years old, own a house. It's super cheap. It's 80 grand. Which is what everybody in the world wants, cheap homes. It's in good condition. Guess what? You're going to get a cash offer. Even if you list it on Facebook Marketplace for a sale, you're going to get a cash offer. Or someone coming with you a DSCR loan, conventional loan, something like that. So there's no way you'd ever accept the 20-year-old coming to you and going, what if I just give you like $500 a month for 30 years? No money down. Like, they're never going to accept that. They never will. They never will. There's no incentive for them whatsoever. Unless you make an incentive. But if you make an incentive, the deal no longer works for you. For example, every person in the US knows, hey, you can just put your money in the stock market, get 10%. Right? Everybody knows that. So they're not going to accept a 7% interest rate from you. Right? And so they can just sell it cash, dump the money in stock market. So you have to offer above what the current interest rates are. Let's say 10%. You offer 10%. Match it. You're not cash flowing anymore. You're going to make $0 a month. It's not worth it. Or they're going to say, oh, you know what? I'll do seller financing. 50% down payment. Or they'll say, oh yeah, my 80K home, you want to do seller financing? 130K if you want to do seller financing. It just doesn't work. Like, there's no scenario where you can give a good enough incentive where you can both cash flow and also enter the deal with little money. It doesn't happen. It doesn't. The only circumstance it ever happens is when the home is so dog shit that nobody wants it. In which case, then you're losing the point of the strategy, right? Which is, you want to get in with little money. That's the point of seller finance. You want to get in with little money. So you buy the home, seller finance, $0 down, and then you're hit with $30,000 in repairs they have to pay out of pocket. Well, oh, okay, you lost the point. You lost the point of this. So no, it does not work. Anyone claiming you can do it reliably is lying to you. It's like 1 in 5,000 people. Like, you'll spend better time working at McDonald's, saving up more. If I buy turnkey properties with 100K, how do I keep scaling when I run out of capital? Exactly, that's the point. You will run out of capital. It's not scalable. You're currently doing BRRRR and can only do 2 to 3 properties a year max. People have this thing where they want to become like filthy goddamn rich as fast as humanly possible. Like, you realize that 2 to 3 properties a year is fantastic. Let's assume it's the low end 2. Most people retire at 10 to 20 properties. You keep going at that rate, you're retiring in 5 years. Maybe 10 at the worst. That's fantastic. Almost everybody in the US can't retire. They want to bump the retirement age up because nobody can afford retirement. And you're going to retire in 10 years? Maybe 5 years? Fantastic. That's amazing. So few people can do that. It's just... So many people want, like, to be a multi-billionaire. It's just... You got to do things differently if you want to do that. If I save 60K a year, realistically, how many properties would I be able to buy per year? If it's turnkey, like 2, and you'll have some change left over. If you do burrs, like 4, I think. Which is, again, great. How much does the mentorship cost? Between 4 and 6,000. I think 4K is kind of just if you're doing like 1 or 2 doors, turnkey, easy. If you want to do burr, it's going to be 6K, just because, again, it's like triple my time. Realistically, I should charge a lot more, but then you guys wouldn't have any money left over. So yeah, I charge 6K if you're doing a burr and you want to do, hard scaling, unlimited properties. So yeah. If you guys are interested in mentorship, I really do help for 6 to 12 months, like from beginning to end, from picking an area, forming LLC, all the way to screening tenants, managing them long-term. It really is from A to Z. So anyone interested, directly DM me, say I'm interested in mentorship, or click the link in my bio. You'll be able to see a mentorship application page where you can directly book a call. You don't want to be crazy rich, you just want to retire as far as possible with just 10 to 15 properties. Well, then you're doing great, man. Like, real estate takes a while, If you keep going at the rate you're going, 2 to 3 properties a year, then guess what? You're going to retire in 5 years. Good for you. Like, Zero, how old are you? What's the minimum amount to start with? If it's turnkey deals you want to go for, 25K. If it's burrs, 12 to 17, but you should probably have 20 just to be safe. Out-of-state contractors is somewhat challenging. The key there, get a really good realtor. A really good investor realtor will have the best contractors. And it's also why, again, I think my mentorship's totally worth it, because I already have these contacts, right? Let's say that you pick the 4K plan, then one bad contractor overpricing you by 4K, boom, that's it. Made up, like you lost the money already, right? Let's say that your contractor quotes 25K for a burr, mine does 21, boom, immediately 4K saved right there. Mentorship paid for itself. Like my contractors are both pretty much always cheaper and faster. You're 42 years old. Okay, well, you could retire by 47. Like that's really good. That's 20 years sooner than the average in the US. If you really want to scale way faster, you have to partner with people that have money, or keep doing what you're doing. I mean, you're doing it cash. That's fine. You could do private money, but in return, every deal will cost about 4K more on average. Otherwise, yeah, partnering with people using other people's money. It's a bunch of money to start, doesn't work for a family with 3 kids. I mean, if I apologize for this being a very morbid example that I'm about to do. If I have a pew pew, right? If I have a pew pew, hold it to your head, and I say, come up with 25K temporarily, any way you possibly can. You're gonna find a way. You will. Whether it be, getting a private money loan, whether it be getting a credit card and doing a 0% APR cash advance, whether it be, asking friends and family. Like, you'll find a way. You will. You will. If I have a, pew pew to your head, you'll find a way. Because that's all you really need. You need temporary funds to, do the hard money loan, rehab it, refinance, and then you get about 60% of the money back, right? And if you're saying, oh, I don't have the 40%, right? You don't have 12K, hustle more. I'm sorry, but this is a house at the end of the day. Like, a veteran's going to live in it. An elderly woman's going to live in it. A single mom's going to live in it. You need to know what you're doing. You're playing with other people's lives. Now, I'm not saying like it's not possible, right? But you can't enter with zero, right? I work about 80 hours a week. I have since a very long time. I did when I was 18 years old. I did when I was 17 years old. I had worked 2 full-time jobs just to save up more money to buy more homes. Like, you gotta hustle. That's it. There's no secret to it. Hustle. That's it. Jake Pesty. Yeah, you got it completely correct. If you want to do the math on how much money you need to retire, each home will net you about 350 to 500. Each home will get you BRRRR 12 to 17K in cost, turnkey 25K. You can do the math from there on how much homes you'll need to retire. Jake, you nailed it there. You're currently flipping homes, looking at 2 a year. When would it be smart to start BRRRRing instead? Immediately. I don't like flipping. The reason being, you have to pay taxes when you sell a home. With BRRRRs, you don't. Because when you refi, you're not making money. You're pulling out a loan. Loans don't get taxed. That money's tax-free. You can just use it for your next investment. So I like BRRRRs. I always do BRRRRs. I don't do flips. Yeah. Ugh. What other questions? What other questions we got? You mean you have contractors nationwide? I do. Pretty much in every market that has homes under 120,000. I have contractors, realtors, etc. How much equity do you usually take out with a refi? We get it reappraised at its new value, pull out 80%. What is your stance on the constant debate on single family versus multi for non-Section 8? Multis are not good for Section 8. If it's non-Section 8, I think multis are fine, but I still don't do them. It's just a very big management headache, in my opinion. There's a lot that can go wrong, especially, with multis. For example, we had a multi-triplex, and I remember one time our furnace broke for one day, and then all 3 tenants called the city. And all 3 tenants we had to get it re-inspected 3 different times. What's the cost of the mentorship? Between 4,000 and 6,000, and we save you, 10x the amount. For example, if you're doing a BRRRR, right, you find contractors on your own, kind of shady, $25,000 quote. If my contractor is 21K, we immediately made up the cost of the mentorship, right? Another instance, a few days ago, I posted this on my story. One of my students was about to put an offer on a single family home in Cleveland, and then they sent me the offer to review, and I immediately said, don't even offer, because I told them, if you buy this home, you'll sit vacant for 6 months, because the street view was slightly outdated, a few years old, and I knew, because I know the area already, I knew that in recent years, past 2 years, it's gone to shit. So that alone probably saved them 10K minimum. Between buying the home, wasting closing costs, having it vacant, that alone saved them 10K minimum. So if you're interested in mentorship, directly DM me. This is real estate. You can make a lot of mistakes. And I'm not going to lie to you about what we offer, right? I'm extremely transparent in what I do, extremely transparent in my numbers. I'm not saying it's 5K down, right? I'm not saying you could do seller financing. I'm not saying each home will get you $800 cash flow. Those are all lies from other gurus. I'm a licensed realtor, and I'm going to give it to you straight. And I will save you 5x, 10x the amount that I cost. I am confident. So if you're interested, DM me. Sorry, coughing a lot. Oof. How do you handle utilities with the vouchers? Pretty much always tenants will pay it. There are a few exceptions. For example, if the voucher that the government gives is like way disproportionate versus what the tenant will actually use. Like I know Cleveland Water is an example of this, where the vouchers they give are like $70, right? But in Cleveland, like the tenant will never use more than like $30. So it makes more sense in that scenario to accept the voucher, keep the difference, and just pay the water bill, and then put a cap on it, right? Say, oh, if it goes over 70 any month, the tenant's held liable for the remainder. So there are a few instances like that, but generally 90% of the time, yeah, tenant will just pay. What states do you invest in? Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Texas. There you go. If you found a sewer problem before rehabbing, do you get it fixed first or have rehab done, pass occupancy, and then deal with the issue later? Fix it first, because most of the time we will directly tell the seller to give us a credit for it. And also sewer is just like a hassle. Like it's unlivable if there's a sewer problem most of the time. So yeah, pretty much has to be fixed up front. The only exception to that is if for some reason water isn't working in general, for example, no water heater, then obviously you can't verify if sewer ends up working. So yeah. Plus, you might mess up some stuff on the interior anyways. For example, ripping up toilets. So you may as well do the sewer issue first. Jake's correct. You should always do a sewer scope inspection. What if I bought it already as is? Big mistake right there. You see, that's where the mentorship's worth it. I would have saved you at least 5 to 10K right there. Still do sewer. Still fix sewer first. How's Birmingham? Pretty good. Good market. I'm still investing there. It's getting a little. I'm going to use my throat spray. Hold on. I'm still investing in Birmingham. Why don't you buy in St. Louis? I forgot. St. Louis is fine. I have students investing there. In fact, I think one just got under contract. I just don't buy there simply because I just haven't expanded there yet. Nothing wrong with it. Just haven't done it. That's all. My lender only does 75%. Mine does 80%. There you go. That could have saved you 5K right there. Did it get re-inspected because they were Section 8? Yes, it did. Thoughts on Pennsylvania? Very few places that it works. I think it's a lot better for burrs in Pennsylvania. I've got 2 duplexes. Both are 3-1s with bonus rooms, all rehab fully. Should I go with veteran voucher, I always recommend just no vouchers, just regular tenants. However, you still have to advertise to everybody legally, unless you have less than 4 units. Is Minnesota or Wisconsin good states for Section 8 or Wyoming? So I personally say no. Great question from a beautiful woman. I personally say no because of the weather. I think that it's just too prone for bursting pipes. And, plumbing issues are pretty much the worst possible issue you can have in a house because water damage affects everything, right? It can affect foundation, mold, health hazards, etc. So if you can only, reliably get contractors out there, reliably do burrs 6 months out of the 12, there's a lot of wasted potential there. So I personally say it's not really worth going into those states unless you're doing like a turnkey, for example. And in those cases, it could be worth it. I don't know too many cities inside of those areas, so I don't know if they actually have homes in price ranges that are, gonna cash flow and fit the 1.3% rule. But very good question. Bro, that inhaler price is insane. Yeah, I paid $260 for my inhaler. That was crazier part. It was cheaper to buy it cash than through my insurance. My insurance was $360. And if I bought it cash, it was $260 through GoodRx. So, don't know why my inhaler is so expensive. It sucks. What about Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh's pretty good for burrs. Wait till regular tenants over Section 8, specifically for multifamily. Single family, I only do Section 8. Occasionally a regular tenant. But yeah, for multis, oh man, I've just had bad experience with multis. It's just never gone well. I still recommend to this day to do just regular old tenants. But you still legally have to advertise to everybody. Ripped off. Pittsburgh, easy to find tenants? Pretty sure, yes. I'm pretty sure their waitlist is fairly long in Pittsburgh for Section 8. When you get these houses out of state, does your property manager pick up the keys to closing? I don't have property managers. I self-manage everything. My realtor picks up the keys. And then I'll have the realtor typically list the house for rent. They'll still take first month's rent, but then afterwards, after they get the tenant in, my realtor will send me a copy of the keys. Then, tenant moves in, everything's nice. I send them the lease, beforehand. I include like 13 additional addendums. And then, past there, I set them up with property management software to make everything automated. So yeah, I stopped using property managers. How's Indiana for vouchers? Definitely in need of landlords for sure. Their price ranges are a little bit higher. I would say on average, 120 is probably pretty good. However, yeah, it's pretty decent. I do like it. It's a lot more like a B tier market. That's what I was trying to say. Where you'll get some appreciation, right? Maybe 4%. But in return, you have to accept that your cash flow is going to be like $300 a month on a 120K property, which is definitely worse. Do you buy your properties move-in ready, or do you do light rehab? I only do burrs nowadays simply because I have the experience. For newbies, I always say if you don't have a mentor, probably do a turnkey for your first 1 or 2. Then you can do rehabs after. But yeah, if you do have mentorship, for example, my mentorship costs between 4 to 6K, then yeah, I think you could do burrs from the start. Again, anyone interested in my mentorship, I save you at least 5x to 10x what I cost. Very good example is, my contractors are probably cheaper than yours. Not to flex, but if you're doing a burr, your contractor quotes 25K, mine's 21K. Boom, instantly saved you 4K. Cost of the mentorship. A few weeks ago, I helped a student fix a hole inside of their roof. And my quote from my guy was 2K cheaper. Oh, you know what? Literally just, I think yesterday, one of my students texted me. I'm probably going to make a video on this. One of my students texted me a picture. They closed on their house in Detroit Friday. Sunday, there was a storm and it knocked the tree down in their front yard. Entire huge, crazy big tree just fully uprooted. Oh, I want to find the picture. It was fucking crazy. Where is it? Oh, I found it. Oh my god, I found it. Oh, do you guys see that? Right there. This was my student who sent me this. Oh man, I don't know if you can see that or not. Maybe I have to like click it. Come on, focus. Ah, there we go. It fell down in the middle of the road. Like, literally 2 days after they closed. They got quotes. $2,000 to remove that. I told them, no, don't do that. Don't pay for that. And I gave them what I think is a pretty good piece of advice that definitely is going to save them money. Go to Facebook groups, right? Homeowners of Detroit. Investors of Detroit Facebook groups, right? And just post in there. Hey, anyone want to pick up this tree? If you pick it up, firewood is all yours. You can take all of it. And now they're getting quotes for $600, $800. I'm telling you, that alone saved them over $1,000. You know, $1,200. Do you see the hearts on the side, or does Instagram block that? I don't see that at all, Lena. I don't see any hearts. Unfortunately. I think it's maybe because of the streaming software. I just followed you. I would love to do a live podcast with you. You are really doing things correct. DM me, man. It kind of depends on podcasts. Like, I'll be completely real with you. Podcasts, it really depends on the audience for podcasts, right? Like, I've been invited to other podcasts before, and some of them are like, hey, you have to pay me to get on the podcast. And I'm like, why do I have to pay you to get on your own podcast? You invited me. I've had that happen. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to pay you shit. Some other times it's been podcasts that are like, hey, are you interested in, my podcast? And it's like a podcast about like credit. And yes, that is still in the finance field, but like, I can't really like do any like promoting or advertising or anything, because it's just a different, genre. So Mark, definitely DM me. Just tell me more about the podcast and send me a link to it. I'll look at it. Answer your DM. Oh, I think you're the guy that was like rude to my closer. Yeah, I think I reviewed the call already, and put it bluntly, if he doesn't agree, he doesn't like you, then that's it. You gotta understand, like I get like 10,000 requests a year to join mentorship. 99% of people get rejected because it's one-on-one. It's directly with me. Like I need to be able to work with you for 6 to 12 months, right? It's not like I give you a PowerPoint. Like I am actively working one-on-one with you as a teacher student for up to a year. So yeah, unfortunately, like some people it just doesn't work, right? Even if you're interested, even if you have the money, sometimes we just still don't accept. We're pretty picky. You don't tango with Florida? Yeah. Neither do I. Florida is definitely one of the markets where it's just oversaturated at this point. It's really hard to get, the numbers to work. Is Indianapolis good for Section 8? I think it's good as like a very good B tier market, right? Where you're not going to maybe get the maximum cash flow of any city possible, but you're going to get okay cash flow and in return also pretty good appreciation. I think it's a very healthy mix. What tier is New York City, PA, and Jersey? F tier. If you mean like tier as in like pricing wise, A tier. As in like too expensive. We aim for like D tier markets and C tier. Ohio is just what I chose. I think you mentioned other markets. Yeah, I think people overcomplicate the market question quite a bit. What you should do is not spend a week deciding markets. What you should do is pick one market, get really good at it, and that's it. Never leave it. That will make you more money. What about Atlantic City? No. Way too tenant friendly, and on top of that, way too expensive. Yeah, Jake is pretty much mirroring exactly what my thoughts are. Location is more important, but building your team is way more important. Yeah, that's correct, Jake. Basically a mirror of what I just said. Kind of funny. Me and Jake are on the same wavelength. Again, anyone interested in one-on-one mentorship with me, just directly DM me, get into a call with my team. I only accept a limited number of people. So I get a lot of requests for mentorship, and we pick the ones that are, most motivated, most ready, and that would be a good fit for me to teach. So if you're interested, click link in my bio, fill out an application, or just directly DM me. Mobile or Birmingham, they're very similar markets. I think that once you're like nitpicking between that much, it doesn't matter. I probably Birmingham, just because I'm used to it. I think Mobile's rents are a little bit lower. I think it's very close to like Montgomery's. Like Birmingham has higher rents by like $150 on average. This guy knows what he's talking about. All those other dudes silly dream that isn't realistic. Hey, thank you, man. I'm a licensed realtor. I kind of have to. Have to be honest, have to be upfront. Lena, if you're still watching, what food should I get? Are you feeling any food? Oh yeah, for those of them who don't realize, Lena's my girlfriend. I think she's watching. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe. What's your policy for paying contractors? At this point, my contractors, I'll pay whatever the fuck they want because I know they're really good. But if it's new contractors, first off, you have to check if they're licensed. Second off, check if they have insurance. Third, they'll usually ask for somewhere between 30 to 50% upfront. I think that's fine. And then the remainder should be based on work completion. Like I'll pay the rest usually at the 50% marker, then a little more at the 75% marker, stuff like that. Like it's incremental past that based on work completion. Everyone's hyping up St. Louis. It's an okay market. I have some students there. It's fine. It's just like any other. Need some hot pho, chicken noodle soup. I'm telling you guys, I've been sick for 2 months. It's been pretty bad. I have like two different inhalers that my doctor gave me. I have like a bunch of like pills. I'm not gonna show the label. I have like another set of pills right here. Like I have like Mucinex right here. I have like a throat spray right here. Like it's been 2 months. This has been sitting on my desk that I've used 10 times a day. What's your average rehab cost for you? $15 to $20 per square foot if it's like a cosmetic rehab. 35 to 40 if it's a like full burr. What areas are your contractors in? Pretty much any city that has homes under 120K. Realtor is the most important in my opinion because a realtor will have every other connection. Obviously, GCs and PMs are important, but I think a realtor is kind of the gateway to get to those. I will say, I don't like property managers anymore. I self-manage everything, so I always recommend it to my students. The only time I think PMs are worth it is if you're so beyond busy that you aren't on your phone for like multiple days at a time or aren't at a computer for days at a time. For example, really expensive lawyer, surgeon, something like that. Lena said, I think you should get tiki masala. You want me to die? That's so spicy. Ooh. What's the average down payment on Section 8 properties? 20% down. 15% if you already have experience. Down payment's always been the issue for me. You probably look at BRRRRs that requires less money up front, but it's a higher risk and also higher time commitment, so be careful of that. Closing costs are also around 7K on average. Keep that in mind as well. If down payment's your problem, honestly, hustle more. Like I'm sorry that like that comes off as very blunt, right, and a little bit rude, but that there's no magic answer, unfortunately, to like pull money out of thin air. Either partner with people who have money, like a doctor friend, or hustle more. Like I was doing 80 hours a week, working 2 full-time jobs. I still do that. So yeah, you just gotta hustle more. You gotta save up the money. Like it sucks. I know it does. Trust me, I know. But there's no magic answer. And any guru saying that there is like 5K down, 10K down, they're lying to you. They're just trying to get you into their program. And at the end of the day, you're not going to get a house from them. Ah, 200K liquid trying to do 2 to 4 burrs per year. If you have 200K liquid, that's definitely possible. In fact, it could be more than 2 to 4. If you have 200K liquid, you could do 10 a year. If you know how to manage it correctly and, use something like private money. If you have that much money, you need mentorship. Like you need it. I'm sorry, but you do. Unless like you already have a team behind you and you know what you're doing and this is your 10th property. But if you're relatively new at this, to maximize your money as effectively as possible, I think mentorship's a fantastic idea. And you should you should DM me or click the link in my bio and book a call with my team. Still new, just using hard money? Yeah, I'm telling you, I will save you 5 to 10x the amount I cost. Like, I don't know if you were around for the tree example that I gave, but that's a great example why. Yeah, you should DM me or click the link in my bio, book a call with my team with Alan. just started following you, love your stuff. Thank you. I try to be as blunt and as honest as possible because A, I'm a licensed realtor. I legally have to be, or I'm sorry, ethically have to be. But also, there's just a lot of bad names in this space, right? Tom Cruise, Section 8 Kareem, Section 8 Brothers. I found a new one a few days ago that I made a video on. They're just all like spouting very bad financing strategies that will screw you over. And I think that's very dangerous for a beginner to listen to. So yeah. You think Tom Cruise is full of it? Absolutely. Tom Cruise, Section 8 Kareem, all of them. Now, just to be clear, I'm not saying they're broke. I'm not saying they don't own the homes they say they do. I fully believe that, Tom Cruise owns 800 units. I 100% believe it. I believe Section 8 Kareem owns 200. Like, I do believe it. However, the mentorship is borderline a scam. I have so many people come to me that are former students of his, or all of them, saying, yeah, they basically scammed me. I 100% believe that their mentorship is not worth it. Especially because you can't learn. If you're a toddler in the space, you can't learn from LeBron James. You have to learn from like your cousin who's really good. And that's me in this example. But yeah, their strategies just don't apply anymore. They got rich and really a lot of properties and their head start during COVID when seller financing was actually working. That doesn't work nowadays. They're still promoting it dangerously. People are still getting, bad advice from them. And they're still spouting it because guess what? It's good advertising. They can say, oh, you can buy a house with $5,000. No, you can't. And if you do, you will lose your money and go bankrupt. Sorry, I'm very passionate about this. They probably make a ton on the programs. I mean, they do. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm very transparent about how much I make as well for mentorship. Last year I made $89K from the mentorship net. Actually, it was less than that. Net was more like 72, I think. But yeah, like the mentorship's why. Like Tom Cruise makes $700K a month from his mentorship, and it's not one-on-one. Like he hires like $5 an hour Indian virtual assistants to coach everybody. It's just not good. How do you save money to build capital for your first property? Unfortunately, it comes down to cutting expenses and working more. Like when I was starting with real estate, I've pretty much always been working 7 to 8 hours, 70 to 80 my whole life. When I was 18 years old, I was 40 hours a week being a realtor, selling homes, 40 hours a week in college getting my degree, right? I didn't get financial aid. I had to pay for college out of pocket. Graduated in 3 years. Since then, 40 hours a week. People don't know. I have a software engineering background. 40 hours a week. And then on top of that, right, I was a full-time realtor. 40 hours a week. I'm telling you, the only possible way, if you were like stuck trying to save money, you either partner with somebody who has money, like a doctor friend, or work a lot more and save up money. Like I was doing Instacart in college on the side. And cut expenses. $89K, I need to start a mentorship. I mean, it definitely makes a decent amount of money. I'm very transparent about that. However, in return, like I've saved at least $500K across all my students. YouTube, you're contributing to the inflation of the current housing market crisis. No, I'm not. It's the megacorps that are doing that. And also, I'm not buying like crazy above asking price. I'm also not buying homes that like a Section 8 tenant could buy themselves. Like, how the hell are they buying a home with a 400 score and $0 a month income? I think statements like that are so stupid. Like, you're mad at me because I am giving someone affordable housing at a fair price and they don't pay for it. The government covers it. And I'm not overcharging them either. And also I have to pass inspections yearly to make sure I'm providing a safe and habitable environment. Educate yourself, man. Be mad at Blackstone, not me. Like, Section 8 has such a lack of landlords. Like, they desperately need landlords. These wait lists are years long. Chicago at one point had a 20-year wait list for Section 8. Like, I was seeing TikToks about like 50, 60-year-olds finally getting their voucher in the mail that they applied for when they were 30. I've never seen you do a money spread. How do I know you're not lying? That's so funny. Heard you on that. I just had a daughter, so I'm starting back from zero to rebudget and expense. Everybody starts at a different place. Everybody has a different starting place, but at the end of the day, every home costs the same. $25K for a turnkey house, $12 to $17K for a burr. Where am I reading all the comments? I'm streaming across 3 platforms at once: YouTube, then Instagram, and then TikTok. I don't have a Twitch. I think if I made one, it wouldn't really get any followers, if I'm being honest. I feel like Twitch is a lot more for like the younger crowd and also like the variety space and the gaming space. I feel like there's not many finance people on there. I don't think it'd do very well. With your content, where do you recommend starting? Go to my channel, my YouTube channel, links in my bio. You can go ahead and I have a 4-hour tutorial on there, like a masterclass. Watch that. Or if you want something a little bit more up to date, I have a 2026 version. It's only about 45 minutes long, but it's going to be super up to date. I do recommend checking that out. I made it in January. What about sober living homes? If I'm being honest, I don't know enough about the strategy. I've heard of it. I've seen people make money. I don't know enough about it to say. I stay in my lane. Oh, you know what? Also, I have a free school community. It's in my bio as well. You should join that. I have live masterclasses every Friday. Running 10 burrs a year sounds daunting. Completing 2 duplexes with 10 seems hard to manage. That's fair. Yeah, 10 is hard to manage. When you're doing 10 burrs at once, I mean, you're doing, a full, you have like a full contracting team that you hired full time. But I'm not saying 10 at the same time. I'm saying 10 throughout the mentorship, which is like a year long. So that means like you're constantly doing 3 at once. And each one lasts, 4 months, 5 months. That's what I meant. I meant 10 a year. That's what I meant. Again, DM me, man. Let's get you into mentorship. I just watched your latest video while doing cardio at the gym and it got me interested in Section 8. What do you think are the biggest pros and cons? Biggest pro, high learning curve. Very high learning curve. If you don't have a mentor, you're going to make mistakes. And that's admittedly, I am promoting myself. Join my mentorship. But also, when I first started, there was pretty much nobody in the Section 8 space other than Tom Cruise, and I hate that guy. He's like borderline scamming people. So I did everything myself and lost like 50 grand in easily avoidable mistakes. So hardest thing is definitely learning curve. Biggest pro, guaranteed rent. Tenants who stay for 7 years on average. 20% above market rate, 15 to 20% ROIs, which is double the stock market. Yeah. The pros heavily outweigh the cons. Can you give an example of burn numbers? I'm going to be honest, that's going to take a while. But a good example is buy a home for 50K, put 10K in rehab. Now it's 60. Get it appraised. It's 90K because it looks fancy schmancy. Rent it out to a Section 8 tenant at 1,200. Refinance, pull out 80%. That's like 72,000 maybe? Around there. Then you can pay off the original amount, 60 grand. And admittedly, the rest is probably going to be eaten up by various fees, like closing costs and stuff. But yeah, that's a strategy. You pay the 50K stupid tax as well. That's exactly why I recommend mentorship. So you don't pay the 50K stupid tax. Instead, you pay 4 to 6K, depending on what level of mentorship you get from me. And we'll save you 50. Oh, my back kind of hurts. Aside from starting sooner, what's something you'd change about your journey? Stop listening to gurus. Listen to people who are very transparent about their numbers, their process, and who are licensed in some way, shape, or form. I'm a licensed realtor. What's included in mentorship as far as total process? It really is A to Z, like beginning to end, all the way from the beginning of I help you pick an area, I help you form an LLC, all the way to buying, connecting with realtor, getting loan approvals, lenders, contractors, rehabbing, screening for Section 8 tenants, and then self-managing after. Like it really is A to Z. Underestimating closing costs is a good mistake. A good calculation is 3% of the purchase price plus 5,500 in lender fees. That's a good way to estimate closing costs. And you should always ask for a 2% seller credit. What's up, man? Starting your Section 8 portfolio. Nice, man. I wish you the best of luck. Hey, if you're just starting, join my mentorship. Seriously, we'll save you 10x what we cost. We cost between 4 and 6 grand, depending on level of mentorship. I'm telling you, if you're just starting, we'll save you a lot of money. It's directly with me, nobody else. It's a one-on-one mentorship. All right, my throat's getting pretty sore. I'm going to probably end it here. Again, anyone interested in mentorship, just DM me. I'm very transparent about my numbers, about calculations, about how to buy homes. So DM me or click the link in my bio. It'll lead you to a mentorship application where you can book a call. I'm going to end it here. I'll probably go live again, maybe tomorrow. Yeah. And quickly, B Cheryl, it's not 2K in credits. It's 2% in credits. Yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Hope everybody